All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're dissecting the anatomy of a Friday prayer. It's an incredibly brief text. We're talking literally around 40 words. But as we're going to see, that brevity is exactly what makes it an absolute masterclass in human prioritization. We're going to break down how every single word, every concept, is just so intentionally placed to construct this comprehensive plea for ultimate fulfillment. Think about trying to pack a tiny carry-on bag for a month-long trip overseas. You can only take the absolute essentials, right? Well, structuring a complete prayer is kind of the exact same exercise in extreme prioritization. If you had just a few seconds, only a handful of words to encompass every single hope, fear, and need you have for yourself and your loved ones, what makes the cut? How do you even organize that? You have to somehow balance the immediate with the eternal, the self with the community, and the physical with the spiritual. So, this perfectly succinct 40-word text is our sole focus today. In literally a single breath, the speaker manages to traverse the past, the present, and the future. It's not just a random wish list, it is a meticulously engineered sequence of thoughts. Over the next few minutes, we're going to unpack exactly how this blueprint operates and how beautifully it builds upon itself. Okay, before any actual requests are even made, notice how the text anchors itself in time. By starting with, O Allah, on this Blessed Friday, it instantly establishes this deep tone of reverence. They aren't just throwing words into a void. It signals that this is a highly focused moment of devotion, tied to a culturally and spiritually massive marker in time. It completely grounds the entire text that follows. And this really illustrates the sheer density of what we're looking at. The structural engine here relies entirely on a rapid-fire sequence of strong, active verbs: forgive, accept, fill, bless, grant. There's zero passive language here. It's direct, it's immediate, and it's totally action-oriented. Each of these verbs serves as a pillar, holding up a completely different category of human need. By tracking them, we can actually see the architectural framework of the entire supplication. So, starting with those first two pillars, forgive our sins, accept our prayers, it's fascinating because the prayer actually looks backward before it ever looks forward. It addresses the individual's direct relationship with the divine right out of the gate. Before asking for any external worldly things, the speaker asks to rectify their own spiritual standing. The absolute crucial point here is the logical chronology. You have to ask to have your past actions cleared away before you can present your current devotion for acceptance. It makes perfect logical sense when you think about it. Forgive our sins is all about wiping the slate clean. It removes the heavy barriers of the past. Only once that slate is totally wiped clean does the speaker immediately ask to accept our prayers. It's this beautiful two-step process of purification and then submission, basically ensuring that the devotion being offered right now is received without any of the baggage of yesterday. Now, with that spiritual slate officially wiped clean, the focus immediately zooms inward. Fill our hearts with peace. Having secured that vertical spiritual connection, the focus shifts entirely to the self. It's a profound recognition that spiritual cleanliness absolutely has to be coupled with emotional and mental stability. By specifically isolating the heart as the vessel that needs to be filled, the text prioritizes deep internal grounding before even glancing at the outside world. It doesn't just ask for a peaceful environment or a quiet, easy day. It asks for the internal center of the human experience, the heart, to be topped up with tranquility. It acknowledges that true peace is an internal state. It's the prerequisite for dealing with whatever messy external realities exist outside of us. So once that internal baseline of peace is solidly set, the prayer kind of ripples outward to our closest circle of human connection, our families. Bless our families with happiness and protection. The progression here is completely seamless, from the divine relationship to the internal self, and now directly to immediate loved ones. Notice how happiness and protection give us this absolute perfect balance. You're asking for both the presence of positive joy and the active defense against negative harm. It's a wonderfully complete request. Happiness is the offense, right? It's the cultivation of joy, thriving well-being. Protection is the defense, shielding them from grief, hardship, and external threats. In literally just 2 words, it covers the entirety of what anyone desires for their family. Let good things happen to them and keep bad things away. Then, for the grand finale, the scope pulls way, way back for the widest view yet. 3 massive, foundational concepts are grouped together into a single, culminating request. Grant us guidance, mercy, and success. We've moved from clearing past sins to finding inner peace to securing the family, and now we arrive at the overarching macro needs of the entire human journey. I mean, this trio operates as a complete navigational toolkit. Think about how these three words interlock. You absolutely need guidance to know which path to walk down in life. But because we're human and imperfect, you're inevitably going to stumble on that path, which is why you desperately need mercy for the missteps. And finally, if you have the right path and the forgiveness to just keep walking it, the ultimate outcome is success. It is an incredibly tight, logical progression of how to navigate existence from point A to point B. And that brings us to the final temporal scope of the whole thing. It perfectly balances the present needs of our present physical world, this life, with the ultimate timeline of the future, the hereafter. All those things we just talked about, peace, family, success, they're requested not just for the limited fleeting span of a human lifespan, but literally for eternity. It bridges the tangible present with the intangible future. Honestly, it leaves absolutely no phase of existence uncovered. So, stepping back and looking at the full text and its concluding amine, we can really see it now. It's not just a quick paragraph to recite. It is a meticulously layered journey. From the self to the family, from the past to the present to eternity, from offense to defense, and from internal peace to external success. Every single word is pulling its weight. It's this highly efficient, comprehensive blueprint for fulfillment that perfectly aligns our spiritual, emotional, and physical needs all at once. Which leaves us with a pretty heavy question as we wrap up this explainer. When you're forced to distill your deepest desires down to just a few words, what makes your list? Do you prioritize the internal before the external, the present before the future? It's a fascinating exercise in understanding what we truly fundamentally value. Thanks for exploring this one with me today.